I think especially as Aboriginal artists, our truth is what makes us who we are in our culture and our spirituality. And that truth resonates into the community.
Mob or Jarjum, that's tomorrow's children, because all we do is for them, really. And if they can get these words, get the pronunciation of it correct, they can then start using it in daily life, and they do.
It's relationships between mothers and fathers, between parents and children, between children and their grandparents. It's that deterioration of that family relationship and connection.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people can now stand with huge humility and be very proud of who we are and what we are, and the way in which we have survived.
Welcome to Beyond the Boundary Road. I'm Fred Leone.
And I'm Mandanara Bales. In 2008, then Prime Minister Kevin Rudd announced that the government had 6 main targets to improve the lives of Indigenous Australians. One of these targets is to halve the gap for Indigenous students in reading, writing and numeracy by 2018.
In 2006, statistics showed that 70% of non-Indigenous students completed Year 12, compared to just 40% among Indigenous students.
The Indigenous Literacy Foundation quotes that the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous students emerges early, and that non-Indigenous students far outperform Indigenous students in benchmark tests for reading, writing and numeracy in Year 3 and Year 5. By Year 7, the gap has widened, particularly for numeracy.
In the 2013 Prime Minister's report on closing the gap, it was noted that literacy had mixed outcomes. They stated that progress needed to accelerate if the target was to be achieved.
Headway has been made in Waterford West Local Primary School to close the gap by introducing culture and language into the curriculum. Today we have Gary Crosby with us, who has been heavily involved with initiating and delivering the curriculum. Thanks for joining us today, Gary.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us, who's your mob and where your country?
I'm originally from Darwin, so Larrakia mob, although I'm not traditional Larrakia. But my great-grandmother's mob is Wakaya mob from up in the Central Gulf area.
Deadly. So how would you describe the new initiative taken on by the school?
I'd describe it as being brilliant, about time. It's a great initiative. The school's taking steps like out of the box, new territories, the curriculum and everything like that is just starting to bloom. What we're doing at Waterford West is having a snowball effect throughout the community as well. Other schools are jumping on board, and the language is getting, because it's been a sleeping language, it's been revitalised. So,
yeah, cool. Hey, would you say that that you're introducing culture not only into the school but the wider community?
At our school, I think there's about 32 or 33 different cultures, and in cultural studies we compare each other's culture, we share each other's culture, and that brings a greater understanding to each and every student.
Can you explain to us what it took to get something like this up and running in your school?
Yeah, there's certain process and protocols that must be followed. It's not written, but it's more out of respect and to identify ownership of that language and that culture in that area. First of all, we had to have a great captain at the helm, Di Carter, our our principal. She supported me big time. Then we went out into the community, talked to the elders, asked what they wanted and what we could and couldn't teach. Then we set up a framework, a guideline to go with, also using QSA's language framework as well. And also now it's going into the national curriculum as well, using that language document as well to set up our programs.
Yeah, great.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? Having that been integrated into the school, what do you think the impact has been on the wider community just from hearsay or what you've heard around the community?
We had a few families in our school that thought that their kid, or Jarjums as we call them, our Jarjums, their Jarjum shouldn't be learning the national anthem in Yugambeh. But once they realised what that was, they changed their mind and thought, yes, we should be revitalising that language in that area. Just another thing is the wider community is, it's not just like the younger generations are the ones that are making those connections as well, and identifying elders and everyone out in the community, and then like they know their Auntie Robins, they know their Auntie Eileen's, they know their the Yugambeh Centre staff and everything like that. Our Jarjums know all their elders and that. So
it's reinforcing our culture, not just at home but in the school ground. And I think with teaching that to other kids, the Murray way of doing things, of calling our aunties and uncles, who non-Indigenous kids might not refer to those elders as auntie and uncle. So in terms of closing the gap, how would you see this this program, I guess, impacting on the kids when it comes to closing the gap?
There was a Stronger, Smarter learning communities. They've done research on it, and one of our schools was in the top 4 for closing the gap. But they've done that Australia-wide from all different schools, and that was under Professor Alan Luke and his team. They got out there and did the research, and it has been proven that there is a big closing of the gap. The actual teaching of the culture has closed the gap, because the students, our Indigenous students now, there's none of that shame job stuff. You know what I mean? Like they just getting up there and they're proud to be Aboriginal, or and doing the traditional dancing and songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, deadly. And hey, what do the elders think in the community?
The elders, to begin with, they were a bit, was it sceptical, was it?
Yeah.
Where they were a bit worried that it wouldn't take off, because they tried it 20 years ago with Auntie Eileen running that, trying to get the language program up in Logan, and they were a bit worried that it was going to happen like that again. But then now, like myself and John Davis, who's my mentor, he's working out at, he's the principal of Yimba Yumba, and myself and him reassured the elders that, hey, there will be a snowball effect. And although, like, we've been doing this now for 3 years, just on 3 years, and that snowball effect is starting to boom big time, because all the other schools are ringing up myself, the Yugambeh Museum, trying to find out how they can get that brought into their school.
Yeah.
And just quickly, if you were to move on from the school, is it a program that's viable and sustainable?
Yes, it is. The curriculum caters for anyone to teach it, although with the process and protocols, we prefer an Indigenous person teaching it. Although, and that's like another thing, process and protocols, I actually had to go and get permission to teach it in this country, because I'm from up Darwin way. When I first got there was programs up and running already, although they just needed someone to jump in there and lift them right up and start getting recognised within the community, bringing the community to the school. There are young Indigenous kids coming up through uni doing their teaching degrees and that, and those should be able to take over. It can be taught by anybody, although, like I said, we prefer to be taught by Indigenous people. It is very sustainable due to the national curriculum coming in, QSA's program, language syllabus, and like the units of work that I've done in the Yugambeh language framework as well.
Do you see it as a program that would be able to roll out across all mainstream schools, that they could introduce with a particular language group in different schools around the country? Yeah,
definitely. It should be. The northern schools, it would bloom, because there's a lot of language and culture being in the schools anyway. Excellent that all schools start to jump on board and take it on, find out what languages and what culture from that area, and it teaches the kids the local history of their area, and they can connect with the land and their area. That's also part of closing the gap, understanding your local history and things as well.
Exactly. I think a really important thing is, you know, our mum and dads or our elders can actually feel good about sending our kids off to mainstream schools now, you know. As much as we'd love to just keep our Murray schools going, but to send them off to a mainstream school and know that they're learning about their culture, they're coming home stronger and prouder. Waterford West Primary won the education section from the Reconciliation Premiers Awards. What was that like?
Oh, that was a bit of a surprise because the first time we've been nominated, so myself, John Davis and Di Carter, the principal, we all went and we didn't think we were going to win it, but we did, and it was like a great surprise. To me, it was like just an identification of all the hard work that a lot of people do put in behind the scenes.
What a great way to go out with a big bang.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Gary, for coming on the show today, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.